Look, Doctor, you can't just play a passive role. We were sent for, remember?
I'm cogitating
About what?
whether his job's to keep unwanted visitors out or...
keep someone in.
No matter how you and Professor Lasky rationalise the situation, we should never have proceeded to the point we've reached.
How you became a scientist book now baffles me. You have the temperament of an overcautious rabbit. Do you leave the gate open?
Dora! The pot! Every one of them.
Fool must have introduced high-intensity light into the center.
We're confronted with a catastrophe, and that's your reaction. Don't you realise what's been unleashed?
Not again.
What's going on in there?
Don't ask me. I'm only the security officer.
Where are they?
Where are who?
You know exactly what I mean. Where are the seeds? The ones you picked up in the wrecked cabin? Or did you think I'd forgotten?
Ah,
Oh, come
what do you want them for?
Professor Lasky. She's an agronomist. I'm going to ask her.
Is she? An agronomist, huh? You better leave me to cope with this.
You?
This is a situation that requires tact and finesse. Fortunately, I am blessed with both. Professor Lasky,
Oh, it's you, the comedian. What do you want?
I understand that you're an agronomist.
A thaumatologist, to be precise.
A dermatologist. Then you're well qualified to tell me about these.
Stewardess! Stewardess!
Something wrong, Professor?
Fetch the security officer.
Can I help?
At once.
May I be told what's wrong, Professor?
This man's a thief.
Mr. Rush, to the passenger lounge, please.
Now what have you landed us in?
Oh, well, I have to confess, I have a lot of favourites in this one. This has always been my favourite segment of the trial season, Terror of the Vervoids. And I've often been quoted as saying this is my favourite Doctor Who story of all time. It's quite a confession, isn't it? I don't think I'd go as far as to say it's the best story of all time. And that is my sort of view of the whole trial season. But I can certainly say with my hand on my heart, it is my favourite story of all time. Now, why is that? Again, I mentioned in one of the previous trial reviews that it's always been a story that has played a very important part in my life. When I was growing up as a teenager, the Trial of a Time Lord was there for me when I needed it most. And I would constantly re-watch it. You don't blame me, do you? And I think what I loved particularly about this segment was the Agatha Christie whodunit element. I've always loved murder mysteries and Cluedo. I'm thinking back to the Robots of Death with Tom Baker. That's another story which I really, really love. But yeah, I just love the relationship between the Doctor and Mel. Of course, we saw Bonnie Langford there, her first story. And here, at last, was a companion who really wanted to be there. I love her sort of zest for adventure and her sort of just a sort of glitter in her eyes all the time, isn't there, about, you know, what's going on and trying to solve the mystery. And this was so refreshing, I think, following a string of companions who arguably didn't really want to be there or didn't find travelling with the Doctor as riveting as Melanie Bush from Pease Pottage does. And as I say, I love the relationship between the Sixth Doctor and Mel. It's such a shame that their tenure together was so brief. You know, obviously we've got the exercise bike and the carrot juice, the sort of the cliches of for this period. But yes, I'd probably go as far as to say, for those reasons, Mel is certainly up there as one of my favourite companions. We saw Honor Blackman there as well, playing Professor Lasky. Yes, and I think the plot revolves around sort of agronomy and thrematology and the plant monsters, the Vervoids, who who I think got a lot of slack for appearing on the front cover of a Doctor Who magazine due to their somewhat phallic features. But yes, they have that very sort of low, husky voice, which makes them very sinister, I think. And I think there was another character in this called Commodore Tonka Travers, who the Doctor had met before in a previous adventure, and he was a lot of fun. But yes, this one, for me, is probably my favourite story of all time. And it just felt so refreshing, I think. And I think a lot of the reason for that is Bonnie Langford and her sort of zest for adventure.